Welcome to the Love Where You Live podcast, where we have conversations about why it's awesome to live in Boulder and Boulder County. And today, it would be impossible for me to be more excited to welcome our guest today, who I'll just jump right in because some of you see her already. It's Dana D, but I'm not going to get out easy. I'm going to say Dana Derichsweiler.
Wow.
Did I
Good
get it?
on you.
Okay, thank you.
You
Okay.
totally got it.
I'm with the one, the only Dana D. And first off, thank you for being here to talk with us.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So we've got Dana D, we've got Rocco. So for those of you that are watching on YouTube, you'll see that Rocco is front and center. And I think that's a good leading point here as I introduce Dana from my perspective. And I think that, Dana, you'll have to jump in as my guests do and correct me and add and
You bet.
and make everything better. But like, I view you as sort of realistically a quintessential Boulder person, just a Boulder community member in so many ways, a dog lover,
Yep.
an athlete, a traveler. I mean, the way I interact with you is also, and where I found you, as the owner of Walnut Cafe, the founder, the beginning initiator of that amazing Boulder institution, the Walnut Cafe. So that's how I know you, and I'd like to introduce you to the listeners as that. So does that sound fair?
That sounds fair. So far, so good. And we can't spend too much time on all that because this is about love where you live. And I already told you we have 1 hour.
Okay.
And there's so much I love about Boulder.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I just started the stopwatch now,
Okay.
so that first
Okay.
little bit doesn't count.
Okay, we're good.
We've got an hour. So this is awesome. And realistically, if you are living in Boulder or planning to come to Boulder and you haven't heard of Walnut Cafe, which you no longer are the owners of,
Right.
you've passed that gem on. but
Retired.
You've retired.
Yep.
We'll come to that. But please look it up and get your buns down there because it still is just an epicenter of love and community and amazing food.
Yeah. It really,
So-
I can't have breakfast anywhere else still. I'm ruined.
At home?
No, I mean, I go to the Walnut all
Yeah.
the time still. Like,
Okay.
I just love it. You know, it's such a great vibe. And I'm so proud of, I sold to my managers and I'm so proud of them. Like, they're just continuing on like that quirky kind
Yes.
of funky Boulder
Yes.
vibe. And
Yes.
you just go in there and you're like, okay, this is what Boulder's really about. This is what's happening.
I think you're spot on, and
Yeah.
the right owners took over this chapter because you're right,
yeah.
Ash and
Ariel. Yep.
and they're just I saw them about a week ago, and I'm always happy just to pop in and just I don't know, I'm happy all the time there. So folks, footnote, go there. Coming back, I wanna. You can tell I'm excited because my brain's going a mile a minute. I want to at least follow our protocol still. And I want to say that obviously you are a Boulder person. We described it. You love Boulder. Everything about Boulder. I'm sorry. He's usually you're clearly
can't help it.
an amazing dog person.
Yeah, I can't help it.
And so he can't. We're talking about Rocco. But you didn't start here. So from if I'm inaccurate, please bust me. But I think you are a Pueblo native, perhaps ish. Grew up in Pueblo. Close.
Do you want me to just let you off the
Yes,
hook?
give it to me.
Okay.
Give it to me. Where did you? Where?
Okay.
Yes. Tell me about your upbringing. Where did you come from?
I was born in Texas.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
Which part?
Not for a long time, but North Texas.
Okay.
And I still have some relatives and things down there. But the thing about being from Texas, because it's very easy to have opinions.
It
about
is. It is.
Texas,
It
right?
is.
The one thing I'm always grateful for, because I can always find something to be grateful for, is I learned my manners there.
Amazing.
They're really big on it.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh.
And so
Correct.
that happened.
Okay. So how
Didn't
many
it?
years in Texas learning manners?
11.
11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moved here to Pueblo when I was 11. Went to high school, Pueblo East. Do you want me to just keep going?
I do because there are a couple things. I'm not a complete I know you, but I do a little research and I know that you ran also you ran for Coach Garcia. Is that right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, at Pueblo East, and you guys
was amazing.
I want to hear about that because that's foundational too.
Love that guy.
And spoiler, you guys did something that had not ever been done before.
Yeah, we won a state championship.
In cross country.
Yeah.
Which is
And it was the
tough.
first like girls cross country.
That's amazing.
I mean, before that we were just running against the boys, which was amazing because you'd have all these parents like, don't let that girl beat you. You know, for
Yes.
sure. Like it was like, you know, Title IX and all
Totally.
that stuff.
Totally.
But yeah, I've been around a long time. So that's back in the day. I got a lot of those
Yes.
stories. But yeah, so
Okay, so here let me sort of this is what I want to know. You at 11 you're moving to Pueblo. What about cuz it's fun for me to see, you know, did you have siblings? Were you just a natural runner? Cross country is not easy. Did you do
Yeah.
other sports? Like what got you to that point where you guys won that state title?
yes, I have siblings. I have a older sister, a younger brother, and I had a younger brother.
Rocky.
Yep, you know. And so, yeah, I actually was just playing like street basketball.
Okay.
I go to, you know, high school, ninth grade. I'm playing basketball, and I thought it was pretty decent. You know, I'm not that tall, but I'm thinking I'm pretty decent.
Yeah.
But like the first game, the track coach is there and seeing basketball, and they were like, "Oh my God, think how fast she'd be if she wasn't dribbling the ball down the court." So
Classic
that
running
was
coach.
the end of basketball.
Okay.
And from that point on, I did cross country
Okay.
and track.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. And so, all right. So, and I don't usually sort of get you off the hook here, so to speak, get right to Boulder, but I can feel it bubbling out of you. So we'll talk about, high school graduation, like
Yeah.
you're done. What was the next moves? Kind of just step us through, and ultimately what was that next little chapter like?
Well, you know, I was still way into track.
Yeah.
I mean, that was sort of my identity. And so I looked at all kinds of schools everywhere and didn't want to go too far from home. You know, I was really close with my family. And at the time, CSU had a really great track program. So
Gotcha.
I ended up going to CSU,
Okay.
you know, on a scholarship and all. And then ran a couple of years, did pretty well. And
But
got
you're very humble.
injured
You're very
and-
humble. Were you quite good? I mean, you were
I mean,
you were a standout runner. I know. I did my research.
I was pretty good. Yeah, I was pretty good, but it was different. You know, I had trained a lot in the 70s, and we didn't know as much as we know
that's
now.
true.
Like
That's true.
I used to keep a running journal. Actually, who was that guy that had the book with the legs on it? Oh my God, it was amazing. Well, we'll go back to that. But anyway, I kept this running journal, and really like my junior or senior year in high school,
Okay.
there were some weeks that I was running 110, 120 miles a week.
Is that right?
Like I would get up every morning and run 10 miles.
Amazing.
So, I mean, it was
Painful.
almost just like an injury was just going to happen.
Wow.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what happens when you overtrain.
Right.
So I tore a plantar fasciitis and
Okay.
tried to keep running. You know, they
Okay,
shoot you
okay.
up with some
Yeah,
drugs
yeah,
and
yeah.
say, go, go, go. But
So,
then
yeah.
after a while, it's like,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
if you want to enjoy the rest of your life, you might want to
Stop.
stop and heal.
And but also for those that came after, thank you, because like you're on that leading edge of figuring out what we can't do, because
Yeah.
someone was going to do that. So you were in that era of let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
What's appropriate.
Yeah, let's see what we can do. Let's see how many miles we can run. Yeah, it was crazy. But, you know, I had a blast. I had
Yes.
a lot of people I was with, and it was fun.
That's so good. Okay.
So I quit running.
Okay. Still in Fort Collins though.
Yeah, still in Fort Collins.
Okay.
Get out of school, go to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I followed a girl.
Okay.
And then I started working. Actually, that's part of my story. Like I couldn't, when I came out, you know, as gay, as a lesbian, I couldn't think of going into a career at that time where I couldn't be my authentic self.
Sure.
And you couldn't at that time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to start being a public school teacher and have to like hide who I am?
Early
I
80s we're
can't do it.
talking? Like early,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and you just
Yeah.
it wasn't
No, it's not a
happening.
thing. No, you're not. No, you're okay.
No, you gotta hide. You gotta hide. So I mean, there's no Ellen DeGeneres or
No,
Katie.
no.
Nobody is out.
No.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
the first person out in the United States. No.
That's on Wikipedia, also verified. No,
That's right.
I get it. I mean, that's the climate, and like realistically, you're making choices. Like I don't want to teach and not be authentic.
Yeah, I just
and
can't.
Good for you.
Can't,
That's
not be who I
massive.
am.
That's massive.
So I started waiting tables, and this is so ironic. The first job I had doing that was at Marie Callender's in Aurora.
Okay.
So let's go. There was the pie right
Is that
there.
right?
I know.
Wow.
Not for long, but for a bit.
Yeah,
and then,
good. Okay.
I was at the Walnut Cafe in Denver.
Okay.
And worked there a little over a year. And then I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to go to Southern California.
Okay.
And
okay.
check out, like, I want to surf.
Yeah.
I want to do
change the scene.
different things. Blah, blah. But then a guy up at Chautauqua Dining Hall was like, hey, why don't you come run the kitchen? Did that.
Instead of, or like you're about to roll out, he goes, spend a summer job.
Me a bunch of money and be like, why don't you come do this? So did that. Worked at Rocky Mountain Joe's for a while. That's another old restaurant on Pearl Street. I got the history right here, Michael.
You do. Come on, more. Don't skip over it. So stuff that doesn't exist.
Then I was at Rocky Mountain Joe's for a while, and then I bought into the Walnut with these two guys, and it was losing money, and it's probably going to go down. I think they were just going to have me take the hit with them, but that's not how I work.
That's not how it worked. Yeah.
You know, I always find that athletes, especially endurance athletes, you know, I'm a super fan.
I know.
Everything
I love that.
Endurance athletes, but things that serve them well,
right?
You know, in what they do is their work ethic.
Absolutely.
You know, there's just nothing like it. That self-discipline of we all have that gene, whether it's good or it's bad. It's like we will bury ourselves to reach our goal. Right?
Yes.
And so, I wanted to make it.
You wanted to make it. So you're bopping around in Denver, here, Chautauqua, restaurants. Never made it to California. End up staying here.
Yep. Ended up staying here.
And what year was that they said, "Hey, how about join us at Walnut"? What year are we talking?
85.
85. You're rolling through, and it's you and a couple partners. Yep. You're trying to turn the ship around.
Yep. I'm living in Westminster.
But
when I worked at Chautauqua Dining Hall for summer.
Okay.
And then I moved here with a couple of roommates. Like I just moved into a place.
Gotcha.
And then I borrow some money from my folks and get into the Walnut.
Yeah.
And I'm living in like just a room.
Where?
It's over off of Bluff, like kind of over there by Safeway.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in that area. Yeah.
Okay.
I lived with this woman. Her name was Brenda Bugliani, and she was a skier at CU. Oh, my God. I thought she was so awesome because she was, competitive skier. Anyway, I hope she hears this podcast.
Brenda B, Dana D. And
I know.
Okay, cool.
So then I just bopped around some apartments. Like I was there. Then I was in this apartment like above Murphy's, like those apartments right behind there.
Yeah, our office is right there.
Yeah, that was
we're in front
cool.
of those. Yeah,
and then I was in kind of more off of Foothills down there by King Supers. I was in an apartment.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I'm just making ends meet. Oh, and then I had this awesome place on Broadway that was by Pine. Broadway and Pine. Okay. That was really cool. Okay. You know, then I'm over there by Ideal Market and Colony Market at the time. Yeah. Cool.
It's neat.
Then,
go ahead.
You know, I was over in the neighborhood I'm in now, which is Kings Ridge.
Yes.
In a townhome. And then I was in Kings Ridge in a single family home. And then I built a home in 4 Mile Creek.
Right on.
I have moved around.
You have.
Then I ended up in the home that I'm in now, which is also in the Kings Ridge neighborhood. And I've been there since 2004.
Okay.
And here's the thing about every single one of these places. The only way I ever would find my space in Boulder, like where am I going to live? You know, your lease is up, something comes up, you're moving in with someone, blah, blah, blah. I would ride my bike around town.
Yeah.
I would just ride around and I would be like, I would ask myself, is this my neighborhood? Like, how does this feel? Like it was always that.
More people should do that.
And
More
I
people should
always like kind of resonated in that area
That pocket.
I am now. I've been there 3 times.
Yeah.
And now I've been there, I guess 20 years. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool, and you share it that way. Isn't it funny how you always remember every place you ever lived?
Oh yeah,
in
awesome.
in town. And what's neat to the way you shared it is you've had multiple Boulder experiences from various vantage points.
Yeah.
And you've landed here now. So in that time, when you're like jumping in, because this seems difficult. You're borrowing money, you're renting a room, you're buying into a business that's not doing well.
Right.
It's difficult. Is it difficult?
Yeah, but you're young.
But you're young.
You just do hard stuff.
You do. Yeah. Well, you still do at all age. Yeah. This is you. So, but look, in that experience, is Boulder awesome? Are you still like, this is the jam? Are you because you're a very positive person. You're very upbeat. You have amazing energy. Is that going on that time? Or is it just kind of like, oh crap, is this the wrong, should I hit? Was there ever a question, should I leave? Or you knew this is your jam?
I loved Boulder, like so many people.
Yeah.
The first time I went over 36.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this place.
I agree.
Yeah. I love Boulder. Boulder is my home. Yes, I've been traveling a bunch.
Yeah.
Like, and have, like, since I was about 40, I just made that a thing to do while I was young and healthy.
Yeah.
And Boulder is just like, there's so much to do from here.
Right.
And the community I love, like, I mean, you have to participate.
That's true.
But there is such a strong community in Boulder.
That's true.
I feel like, and I've always loved it. I mean, I love Colorado. I love.
Yeah. Well, it's really home. I mean, 11 years in Texas, kind of, you're still, I still kind of count you more as you're a Colorado person.
Feels like it.
So coming over, share that first encounter a little bit. Like we know the view, we know the drive.
Yeah.
You're coming in first time.
Yeah.
And was it, I got to come back, or was that the first time in was your time when you arrived, if that makes sense?
No, it was in high school.
You came in high school.
Yeah, there were
running.
meets and things like that, right? But I'll never forget, though, that view.
Yes.
Like that, when they say Boulder, Colorado, nestled in the foothills of the Rockies.
Yes. That's it.
Bam.
Tagline.
I mean, it
trademark.
is.
I know.
Like,
it's
that's
accurate. It's okay.
So just the beauty alone. It's like, and then I've just seen so much growth and change and all of that. But everything changes.
That's right.
Everything changes.
That's right.
Nothing stays the same.
No.
Like when occasionally, you get the letters through the editor, or there's some little crankpots or something about, this is the same. It's not the same. Blah, blah. Well, of course it's not the same.
Yeah.
But let's just do it as thoughtfully as we can, because it's never going to be what it was in the 60s or the 70s, even the 80s. Like, it's just not. But
it's not.
Let's just be our best.
Do your best with what we have now. 100%. I agree. I agree. And so, and that's a wonderful perspective, because I share that. I think that, growing and changing is living.
Yeah.
And not changing. The only thing that's not changing is when you die.
Yeah.
Right. That's when it stops. And so go with the flow. All right. Is it fair to say, if I think about the high school Dana coming over for a meet, is it fair to put this on you that when you got here, it stayed on your soul, your heart, you wanted to come back? Or was it too young? You just like, hey, cool spot, move on. I just am curious.
I did think it was a cool spot. Actually, my best friend at that time was like, I'm going to live in Boulder when I get older. And I was like, I don't know where I'm going to live.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But and Fort Collins was pretty cool.
Yeah, for
they
sure.
got a horse tooth up there.
Yeah,
and
it's a good
and
spot.
stuff. And I definitely liked the Front Range. Like, I knew I wasn't going to end up in Pueblo. That wasn't wasn't my scene.
It wasn't.
But it was just right place, right time.
Yeah, I like it.
And then once I got here and started building, those relationships, the community, like, you just kind of get your, I say jam, you do too. You just kind of get your flow.
Yeah.
You get find all those little spots, what it is you're doing,
Yes.
how you fit in.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
I love it. I love to do stuff, and there's
Right.
so much to do here.
For
There
sure.
is so much to do.
Yeah.
Every single month.
Let's okay. I'm gonna come back to my question I was about to ask you, because let's stay there. What are some of the things that are going on? Like what you love to do, and let's pick one per season. We're in fall. It's fall, 2 days, 4 days into fall. What's like the highlight? What would you do if you weren't sitting here right now?
Oh, well,
Really loving it out there.
okay.
Come on.
I'm talking about all kinds of things.
Okay.
But what I do, right now, is biking and hiking
Yes.
and totally all of that. I mean,
Okay.
the leaves are beautiful. We're probably going to get some snow. I love that. It's all crunchy and, all of that. But the things that I do, all the time, there's something happening. Just in the community, I love to go to the Stampede.
Okay.
I
yes.
love that. That's
yes.
so much fun.
Tell us about that. I would like to hear your because some people know what that is.
Oh yeah, well, it's like the pep rally for the football team.
Yes.
And I've never been a huge football fan
Yeah.
or anything, but who doesn't like college football, right?
Who doesn't like pep rallies
Yeah,
too? But
exactly.
yeah.
But it's so fun, the night before the game, the band is down in there
Yes.
on the mall, and the marching band, some of the players, and all that. And
Yep.
it's just so cool. And then
Okay. Thank
there's
you.
just always something happening. I like the Munchkin parade,
Yes.
all those things. I like the festivals, the art festivals that we
Yes.
have, the farmers market.
You got it.
There's always something happening. And this weekend there's the Boulder Marathon.
Oh, the Boulder-thon.
Coming
The
through town,
Boulder-thon.
yeah.
Totally.
And
Which
we
is-
have a big cheer station at our
At your-
corner.
No way.
Yeah.
So
Our neighbors all get together. We have one of the biggest cheer stations.
That's so
So
cool.
fun.
And the Boulder-thon, newer, combines some back roads up here
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
res, but it runs and finishes,
Yep.
starts and finishes now downtown.
Yeah.
How cool.
So awesome.
I'm so glad we have that. Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's cool.
There's just so many cool things
Yeah.
happening. And I know a lot of folks from just talking to so many people
Yeah.
in the business,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
my job,
That's
right?
it.
But they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm not going downtown, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
This is happening, that's
Boulder,
happening.
Boulder,
it's
can't
going to
be there,
be
yeah.
so crowded. And
Yeah.
I'm always, it's Xanthe and I, my wife, I'm always like, we are the crowd.
Totally.
We are the crowd. We are the people that are making it miserable
I
down
know,
there for you.
I
Because
know.
I love it. I love the energy. I love,
I'm with
yeah,
you.
it's so cool. It's just,
Yeah.
if you want something to do, there is something to do.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
Get in it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's why when I first started coming in and meeting you in Xanthe, being at the cafe and just kind of like getting to know you, I think that's why I immediately loved you guys. Because I love the energy too, and you guys
Yeah.
you are the crowd, and I don't
Yeah.
if there's something going on, you're not running the other way, you're running to it, you're helping create it, and that's
Yeah,
so
it's-
fun to me.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
very good. Okay, all right. So then, that's a wonderful share in fall, and there's a Stampede, folks, every home game. So look it up, Boulder downtown. You can find that date, that time, and it is cool.
Yeah.
So if I go rewind again, so I want to say now we're back. And you're building this business. It's 85, you're growing. Tell me a little bit about when you started to feel your flow. I want to tell us about how how you got that from it was sort of failing to now really an amazing community like we described of food, love, acceptance, athletics, the wall of fame you had, all the stuff that you created. Let's get into that a little bit.
Well, okay. It was super slow.
It was
there
slow,
were not people coming in, and also it was the end of town. It was the old mall. What was that called? I can't remember.
Crossroads.
Crossroads Mall.
Yep.
That was definitely Walnut and 30th.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening.
You were
after
on the
30th.
Yeah, you were on the east side of Crossroads Mall, which
Nothing's happening. So you just had to get people in.
Yeah. Okay.
I just thought, if I can get people in here, it's going to happen because they're going to like how they feel.
For
and
sure.
It's going to be cool.
Correct.
So the first thing I did was funny now to look back because I'm 63 years old. So just for context here, there was no computers and Google and, all that stuff that your advertising would have been in the newspaper.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
Something like
Print.
that. So I just thought about, how I could get folks in. And I remember when we were school kids and they would print in the paper what was the lunches for the week.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yes.
And you would look and be like,
yeah.
this is when they're,
Sloppy Joe tomorrow.
Yeah. You knew when to bring your lunch.
Or
when
Sloppy Joe tomorrow.
So I thought, well, maybe I'll do these lunch specials and just run it off. Seriously, write it, copy them, and take them around to all the businesses.
Good for you.
Introduce myself.
Yes.
And just say, hey, that little place down there that you've never been to?
Yeah.
Check it out.
Come
This is what we're doing. Put this on your bulletin board. Talking to a bunch of office assistants, tell people this is what's happening, whatever. And slowly, people just started coming in. I knew because they were having the lunch special.
Yes.
And so I just thought once we get them in,
keep them.
We just have to keep them.
Yes.
And, I always, any restaurateur will tell you, the food had better be good.
Right.
That's a
given.
That's anything.
Yeah.
It's just the product,
right?
But what you really have to do is it's how people feel when they're there.
Right.
It's
the experience.
Yeah.
It's that community.
It's welcoming.
Yeah.
It's being authentic. It's being genuine. It's being you will never find a name tag. We never had hey, my name is Joe. Welcome to the Walnut. Blah blah blah. And never to just be who you are, because people want to go someplace where they're interacting with real humans.
Fair.
And interesting people.
That's right.
Different. Not. They're there to sell you something.
Sure. Yeah.
You're going to spend some time with them. It's
Yes.
going to be cool.
Yes, that is so cool. Good for. I love that. I didn't know that, and I mean, I remember the time, and I'm so impressed that you went out and did that, and it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it's you built that. You have created, and so you did that. We're talking now. We're in the 90s, or are we still kind of?
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think? Where are we now?
It took me about a year to then not lose money.
Okay. Pretty good.
Sure. Yeah. There you go. And then it just kept building, and I think part of that was maybe, also I'm just out in the community and being who I am, and the same thing that kept me from teaching really served me in my business.
How
because I was so
authentic.
Yeah,
you were you. Good for you.
It can be a rough time, especially for young people, to come out. And I was always out. There was never question.
Right.
Back in the 1900s, when they had Rolodex, I swear if you just did lesbian in Boulder, it'd be like, Dana.
There's Dana. That was
Dana,
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, young people would come there, and I have so many stories. That's a whole nother podcast of where, they may come out to their folks and they would say, that woman who owns the restaurant that you like so much, she's gay. And just kind of I never turned down a school that asked for help, on all those donations and things.
Right.
I just wanted to be a part of the community, all of it, the whole thing, so you just have, I always say, if you're going to be in the community,
right,
you have to be a part of it. You can't put a store in a community and be like, come to me.
Yeah.
You have to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's like what you're doing right now.
Right.
You're telling people about your town and the county and
yes. For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you and I mean, again, as someone that got absorbed into that, again, it was effective. It worked. It was when given the choice between Walnut and a restaurant where you don't know the owner, you don't know the staff, you're not recognized, you don't know any stories. It's a no-brainer. And the food quality, again, plus or minus, you're like, that doesn't even come into my discussion here. I'm going here because I'll show up and you and Xanthe meet us at the door. Hey, Valentine, my daughter's name. You hand her some banana bread. We're waiting. We get in. We sit down. She will never, even though she thought for a long time that it was Santa and Santa.
Everyone did.
Right?
Everyone did.
Santa and Dana.
Yeah.
But no, that's brilliant. I mean, those are lasting connections you built and have formed. And I think in the intro, community is one of the things I think of when I think of you. And so I mentioned Xanthe, you mentioned Xanthe. Tell us about how you guys got involved, how when she came on board, and like how you guys are now, because a beautiful,
That's awesome. We've been together now 20 years.
Okay.
And it was hysterical. Xanthe was like this big to-do at IBM.
Right.
She's like a VP of global services or something.
That's fancy.
And I'm running, I know, it's total fancy pants. So, I'm just doing my thing at the Walnut.
Right.
And of course I'm there on weekends. Like that's the big show, right? You want to be there.
Yeah.
So, I would go in and host. Like that's also the face,
100%.
right? So fun. And Xanthe just didn't want to miss out on the fun. So she's like, she'd come in and we might need some help or something, and she would just jump in, and she's really good at it. I mean, super social, everybody loves her. So it was so funny because she would like be at the register and maybe ringing someone in, and more than once someone would come up and they would be like, I think I work for you at IBM.
This is your part-time gig? What are you doing?
What?
That is
what
awesome.
What are you doing here? Yeah. So
she's like,
it was just super. It was
that's
great.
too much.
It was really fun. And, she helped quite a bit on the stuff that's not totally my.
Right.
I don't know about you, but for me to do paperwork and office work, I was just like, ball and chain. Like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can relate. I'm like in my office, I would set an alarm or timer for like 30 minutes. When 30 minutes went off, then I could like do abs or something. Anything,
something better.
Anything. For
Totally.
like 5 minutes,
100%.
I could do something else.
I understand that.
And then I go back because,
office time.
Yeah, but she was like really good at processes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
spreadsheets and
kind of IBM-ish.
Yeah.
Kind of got that engineer side.
Yeah, she's so good at that. She just like get us all in line. And,
okay. Good.
So when she retired early, from IBM, she just came on in. It was great.
Started doing
Such a great fit.
Oh yeah.
I think, and you, I'm sure you feel this too. It can be difficult to work, I think, with a partner.
Right.
But also it can be amazing.
Yes.
I mean, as long as you communicate really well,
right.
and work is work,
It's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's not.
But you guys do it well. Amanda and I do it well. We actually prefer, we sort of do better while we are. We had a period of time after we finished competing where we weren't doing the same thing so much. And it was, we lost a point of contact. And so for us, it works. And you guys have that. And I think that, as you said, you communicate well as partners, as spouses, you communicate well as co-workers. And I think that's the essence of it. You complement each other well.
Yeah.
She lets you do your abs when, when you need to. She starts crunching the numbers.
Yeah.
But
I think it's so essential
yes.
to communicate well, know that this person never wants to hurt you.
Correct.
And if your feelings are hurt, they did not
It's not intentional.
mean to
That's
do it.
cool. That's a good take note of that, folks. I think that's really good.
They did not mean to do it. And when things were ever challenging for us or whatever, she might just grab my hand or something, and we always say, better together.
Oh, I love that.
Better together.
Yeah. Oh, that's
We
good.
just are.
Well, Jack Johnson song too, by the way. So that's good. That's you guys. You have a lot of sort of mic drops or a lot of clips, sound bites. Let's do this. Let's talk about, because I think it's so cool. I remember this. We talked about this in the video you and I did a few years back. During COVID, you guys were unbelievable. You guys, I think you guys did such an amazing thing that I want to share again with your staff and with meals. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? I know it was a while ago, but
everybody was like making sourdough and cleaning out their closets and everything. And it was the most challenging time in my career.
Yeah.
And I had the restaurants at a place where, I was maybe working 20 hours a week.
Okay.
Like I always say, if you have to be there all the time,
right.
you either want to or you're not good at managing.
You haven't done something right.
That's just
for sure.
the truth.
Fair,
you got to empower people and let them do their job, right? You're watching your clock. We only have till 2:30.
I know. We've got,
when Valentine needs a ride home from school. But anyway, so it was challenging. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, I'm in. I was all in. I was
Yeah.
like, give me the ball. Right.
Good.
And gosh, it was hard. And so, even that, when it initially happened, like we met with all of our staff, and at the time, 3 restaurants. And, there were like 100 employees.
Yeah.
And, we're just talking to them about, we're going to have to close down. We made that decision even before we had to.
Before they told you to?
Because
Okay.
yeah. People might die.
Yeah. It was
I'm
scary.
like,
It was unknown.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I looked at the south side. We're totally packed. This is on Sunday. And then we closed. And I think it was a day later they made people close. But I looked around and I said, so who in here would you pick to die? And she was like, "Oh, geez, now we're closing." So we did.
Oh, man.
We just did. But it was,
Yeah.
we have this meeting. They're asking us questions, and it was like that thing where you look behind you, like, "Oh, wait, I'm the one who has to answer that. I am the leader."
Right.
And they were really looking to us for that, and so we just did the best we could. I immediately said to Xanthe, like before that meeting, I was like, we're going to look back at this. Like, this is big. And we're going to have to say, who were you when this happened?
That's
like,
it.
how did
That's right.
you, how did you show up?
Love that.
How did how did you act? What did you do? So the first thing we did was, oh my God, we're sitting on all this food. We have like, I don't know, $40,000 worth of inventory between the stores, and nobody's taking food because everybody's closing and food banks are overflowing. And so I met with the kitchen managers and we inventoried it all, and we, did it by date and how we could do it. And so for the next like 3 to 4 weeks, once a week, we had employees come in and they would just shop.
Right.
They would, the first thing was produce. The first thing, were dairy goods,
Right.
Eggs, like all of that stuff, bread, like we froze everything we could. And so we had people come in and they would just shop. And then we made a hot meal that they could take for their family. And we just did that for employees. We found out quite a few people needed help. Any gig workers in town.
Okay.
We had previous employees that weren't with us then that
Fantastic.
needed help. And, we ended up having to actually buy inventory. Like we would go to Costco and buy things so that they could still come in and get like some fresh things.
Because you went through
eggs
it.
and butter and milk. And
it's brilliant.
I remember Easter happened over that time.
Right.
So we bought like a couple of cases of chocolate bunnies,
my gosh,
so they
good
could
for
have
you.
that for the kids.
Yeah.
And,
That's
it was
wonderful.
just,
you took care of your people.
Oh, you really did.
You took care of your people and all those people that were taking care of us forever and always have. It's beautiful.
I mean, when you say the Walnut family or, we're family, that's when you got to show up.
That's true.
When it's like,
That's true.
yeah.
As you do with family, when they need you, and that was, I just thought that was such a wonderful, and I saw that, and it was shared, and I actually went by. We went by. I remember driving through the parking lot during pickups, and it was in that very uncertain time of can I even talk to people? Can I get out?
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that, and I just always think it is. Something that people need to hear that story and understand that's that love from which you have always come, I think.
Yeah.
And
well, that's being a part of the community.
There it
and
is.
It starts like, with your family and
Yes.
then your neighbors. Like, when was the last time, like, and when I talked about people, you have to participate.
right.
Like, when was the last time you borrowed a cup of sugar? Sometimes
Yeah.
it's easy to like just be in your space, but who are your neighbors? These are your close people.
I know. We just had a cue to share on that, to answer that in some ways. And it was funny because I got to use this as a moment for my family to teach that. Was we had a message, we have chickens. We have 7 chickens now. We lost a couple recently. It was great. You want some eggs?
I'm leaving here with eggs. Yeah,
I'm sending you.
I am.
And so the neighbors have chickens, and they ran out of feed, and they didn't have some coming. And we get this message like, "Can we borrow some feed? We'll do this. Maybe we'll get it back to you." And I was like, "Absolutely, we have to make this happen. Like this is what we do." And then the kids were like, "But wait, we have food. They kind of had to be taught." And I said, "Well, this is neighbors, friends in need.
Yeah.
And this is just, it's our chickens. And sure, could their chickens possibly wait? But I was like, we went through the whole thing of, and guess what? We'll do the same. If we need something, we have people that will, let our dogs out if we're not able to come back. You have to have that participate. That's a wonderful way to say it. So, okay, on the community, let's get into some of these other questions about Boulder, highlights about Boulder. Maybe this one, because you've been here for more than I have. What one thing that you would say? I guess that has changed in a way for the better, because there's so much focus on what, like, I got crowded in the traffic. What's a better change from when you first got here? You could say this is a really awesome highlight about our community, our town.
Well, I mean, right off the bat, because I'm a cyclist and also commuter. Like, I ride my bike.
Yeah, you rode here
way more than I drive a car.
I love that.
Easy.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to commute around Boulder that it's just the thing to do. If you're really in Boulder, you have like 5 essential bikes that you have to have.
Let's get to it. What are they?
What they're like. You probably have a decent road bike.
Yep.
You got to have a gravel bike. You have to have a mountain bike. You have to have a cruiser.
Something
bike.
fun.
We haven't even talked about the cruiser ride, and it's Thursday. Happy Thursday.
That's true. Yeah.
And you probably need an e-bike, because that's like your car.
Yeah,
when you have to get someplace, you got to get someplace fast and not be sweaty.
And that's fair. And coming to that, so no one yet has discussed the Thursday night. So let's get in there. Give me a little lowdown.
It's Thursday too. Happy Thursday. Yeah. Oh my God. If you were just coming to Boulder and you were like, I need to meet some people or whatever, like do something, cruiser ride every Thursday is just fun, like ridiculous, silly. Everyone's welcome, all walks of life.
Yes.
We just ride our bikes around ridiculously with lights on and bells and whistles and yell out Happy Thursday and stop and dance and just have a great time.
And where okay, so do you do how many Thursdays of a month would you do it?
Depends. I've been traveling a bunch, but anytime I'm in town, absolutely. Okay. And also summer is way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, even today, it's going to be 92
beautiful.
Today.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I saw it. Wow. Yeah. So hot, pleasant. Okay.
Someone told me that.
If I hear it, it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
So where does it start? Where do they go? Different routes?
I don't know the name of that park, but the park at Folsom and Pearl.
It's kind of like a non-park.
Yeah, I know.
Has
a basketball slab there.
Kitty corner from Mike's Camera.
Yeah, right
used
there.
to be Hoshibo. I know, it's such a weird.
I don't know what the name is.
Basketball area.
Yeah. Anyway.
So that's the meeting point.
Meet there at 7. Usually roll out about 7:30, and it's just super fun.
Just ride around.
Very, very respectful. Like we, make sure any place that we stop, it's all cleaned up. And
will there be costumes ever?
Always.
I'm just trying to make sure the audience.
There's
some people
always
don't know.
a theme.
Some people don't know.
Oktoberfest.
Okay.
Today. Yeah. So you can come. You can show up.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Cruiser ride.
Yeah.
So, and this is something that when I first moved to Boulder, I moved here in 2001, and my stipulation was we have to live somewhere that's within cruiser bike ride of all the things we want to do, from Spruce Pool to downtown Pearl to the cruiser ride. And we did it pretty well, trying to get in and check out the town. Yeah. It's awesome and still ongoing.
So great. Yeah, so great.
Yeah.
Okay, so things about Boulder. I love that's better, right? You said
improvements. Yeah, what's an improvement?
The bike paths are off the hook.
I think so
and
too.
that really happened from the flood.
Okay.
Like when the flood happened, they really upped their game. And that 36 byway, that's a game changer.
Okay.
I mean, you can get anywhere on that.
Yes.
And really efficiently.
Yes.
Like
it's really well done.
Boom, just goes.
Wow.
So I love some of my rides. I'll just get on my bike.
Yeah.
And just, I know Boulder.
You know where you can go
because I'll just see a road and I just take it.
Yeah.
Take it. I just sometimes that's just my ride.
Okay.
It's just to go turn here, turn there. Wow, I've never been on this. Like one of my favorite little I call it my little whoop-de-doo is when I'm going down Bluff and you get to 19th and you can go up and over that dirt road and pop down
Right.
to like balsam.
Right.
It's just a dirt,
Totally.
like a little dirt
Like a
road
little
that just
thing,
goes
yeah,
up, but it's
yeah.
like a little shortcut.
Yeah, little, yeah.
Up there by Mapleton and all those areas, there's
Right.
so many little back
All the little back
roads
alleys too. There's a
Yeah.
ton of back alleys, roads that don't go
Yeah.
through, roads that you don't
Right.
know are there unless you're trying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I take 'em all.
Concord. There's like
Yeah.
Concord
Yeah.
between Dewey and
Yeah.
you're like, this road, what's this? I think it's Concord. I may
Have you
have made
been to
that up.
that top spot where you look out over everything? I don't even know what the area is called, but it's up there by Mapleton. It's called Lovers Park or
Oh
something.
yeah.
Isn't
Oh
that
yeah.
awesome?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I just recently so
That's
it's
so cool.
that's at like 21st and Bluff.
Yeah, one of the
and
best
you pop
views.
up and it's just between a couple houses and there's a bench. It's really small.
Yeah.
And it's I love that we're talking about Bluff. That it's funny, it just pops in and it is such a I just recently saw the history on that. They I'm forgetting it though, but it's this funny. It's something exactly like you think. Like it used to be the place where you went up and proposed, or like you went up
yeah, I
and
could
it's
see
got
that.
completely, and it's dubbed Lovers Park.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Gorgeous view. Yeah.
Okay, so then instead of dwelling on the negative, let's say what would be a I wish I knew for now? So like this area inside and out, you know the paths, the towns, everything about it. What would be hey, I'm just moving to Boulder, or I moved here 3 months ago. I wish I knew. I wish Dana told me this. Is there like just an insider tip? Help us understand the town better. Could be a hard question.
Yeah, I mean, my insider tip would be if you're not a cyclist, I would like get on the B-cycle or something. My
Okay.
insider tip would be go explore
Okay.
on the bike paths.
I love that.
Like just see all
Yeah.
those little. I would
Okay.
totally do that, and then I would also go on a cruiser ride.
Okay.
Just do,
so
like those two things. I'd be like, oh, you just moved here?
amazing.
Totally
and so
do
the
that.
goal being familiarity with the
Yeah.
area and
Yeah.
people. It's
Yeah.
just okay. That's really cool. And it's again, I keep thinking about like that's I'll cross check your tips with my own life. And I know that one of the things that Amanda and I found extremely valuable getting to know here, but also now selling real estate is we've seen everything by bike.
Yeah.
And a lot of it by foot. And it
Yeah.
really is an asset
Yeah.
because when you're in a car, you might get further.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
you don't experience it. And I do think that's really wonderful. That is something that I think I agree with you. Go out there and ride around.
It's so fun.
Check
Up
it
by
out.
Chautauqua.
That's so cool.
You know
Yes.
those
Yes.
where you have to climb, back up behind there, but
Very good.
it is so cool.
Very good. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's awesome. Let's talk about some others. So let's do a little bit of some favorites. Like you lived all over town. Is there a favorite neighborhood? I know what your favorite for where you live,
Yeah.
but is there a place that you would love to go grab a picnic at this park, or where you'd ride your bike, where you'd cruise, where you'd show it off if somebody came to visit, just from town?
Well, it's hard not to show off Chautauqua
Okay. Yeah.
area. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
one of my favorite places to hike is I'll park back behind the dining hall and
Yes.
the
Yeah.
auditorium
Yeah.
and the McClintock
Trail. Yeah.
and Enchanted Mesa
Yes.
and all that.
Yeah.
It goes right down into
Yeah.
Skunk
Yeah.
Canyon. So if
Yeah.
you want to climb, you can go up Skunk. And
Yeah.
that's super fun when there's a lot of snow.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And,
It's incredible.
yeah, so it's hard not to. I mean, even just riding your bike around all those little roads, all the little cottages and stuff
Right,
back there. I
right.
mean, it's really beautiful. But so is South Boulder.
Totally.
I mean,
what's your
that's
favorite down there?
gorgeous
Kind of
and-
trails? Do you go down there often and just kind of bop through some of the trails, or?
Yeah, I don't know the names
Okay.
so well.
I mean, you
as
just
well
pulled out
as-
McClintock there, and that's an unknown.
I know, but
and,
I know that one. But
Yeah.
one summer I had a niece living with me,
Okay.
and I got a hard copy map from the
Okay.
ranger station.
Yeah.
And we did every single trail.
Okay.
On the from
Yeah.
we did
good for you. You just covered them.
Green Mountain,
Yeah.
Bear,
Yeah.
Royal Arch, every single
Everything.
one with her.
How
She
about
called
that,
it
Shanahan?
Aunt Dana's boot camp.
Aunt
But it was like, yeah, we're hiking.
We're doing it.
So we just
That's
did
so good.
every single trail.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the most beautiful. I mean, it's another good way when you really pare it down. And as a runner, you're all the running you've done, and there's
Well,
something
I'm not running now.
not anymore. But
No.
like that. But and to your point, like to
Yeah.
that point
Yeah.
is walking and hiking.
Oh,
It's almost a better way to see stuff because you're not focused on like the effort.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
looking and you're seeing all those. I think I overlooked how amazing hiking is for a lot of years, but nonetheless, okay. And then if we come in and say if you were going to give us some faves, where would you go? We haven't even talked about. Do we get to talk about the foundation? Should we talk about that? Okay, We'll come to think about it because I do think that's something. Again, I like to share the community stuff you do, but let's talk about where would you grab a cup of coffee? Yeah. Where would you go out for a breakfast? Where would you go out for dinner? And you're not going to offend anyone because it's all there's.
Well, let's just boom right off the bat. You know where I'm having breakfast.
Walnut
Cafe, Southside Walnut. Depends on where I am. Maybe where I'm gonna. What else I'm doing? Am I running errands? Am I going to be hiking? Whatever. Fair. Picking one of those for sure. For sure. Coffee. My favorite coffee. I love, going local always. So my two faves are, of course, Ozo, such a great standard, and Boxcar.
There it is.
I've used both of them in the restaurants at different times. Yeah. When Boxcar first came out, and then I think Raj had some growing pains, but now he's got a great new shop in South Boulder.
I know, super cool decor and everything.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Nice little setup.
From Pearl Street to there. So it's got a nice vibe.
Okay,
and I always enjoy Ozo coffee, and they serve it a lot of places.
They do,
including their own shops.
Okay,
dinner. It just depends on what you're doing, what you're celebrating, if you're with friends, whatever. But if I have people coming in from out of town or something, and you're down at the mall, you got to go to the mall, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like going to Xanthe just because the view is stunning.
It's pretty ridiculous.
You get to see them all.
Yeah.
Everyone can get something they like.
You don't have to pick a genre. Yeah. Okay.
It's good for kids.
That's
that's always fun. If I'm doing something special or I want to have a good time, like really
go big, little anniversary or something, little birthday.
My new favorite is Stella's. Have you been to Stella's?
Yes.
I'm digging
just bought a gift card for some clients that closed yesterday. I said, you got to try.
Digging it.
It's so good.
I mean, you go down that corridor and take the turn, and it's like, hello, am I in New York? Or what is happening here?
Yeah. So really orientation, because you can Google this all, but 14th and Pearl for Xanthe, and then over Walnut, like between 9th and...
It's like a speakeasy.
It's a secret. I won't tell you.
Yeah, you got to find it.
It is, though. It is. Look for that S on the door. That's really a good tip. I love that.
And then just, down at the mall, I like some of those areas for sure. Like, I like Oak. I could talk about restaurants forever, but some of my just go-to weekly.
Yeah.
I want some great fresh food. I love Chez Thuy.
Okay.
She sold to her son.
Okay. Didn't know that.
He bought the place
with
his wife, Michael and Nee. But boy, they do really good fresh Vietnamese food. I mean, it's just, as a vegetarian too, you can't go wrong.
That's your spot.
Takeout, anything else.
Okay.
I mean, it's not on the mall, but there's some good stuff not on the mall. I go to Verde's. I love Mexican food.
I think Verde is a very secret, amazing, not secret, but it's a under.
Kind of though, it's sort of tucked.
Totally.
And it's off the mall. Anything that's off the mall is secret.
It's a little bit secret. I know.
Mojo's.
Mojo's good too. Yep. Very good. You got to check these out, folks. Write those names down. Yeah. Okay. And then as we come back, there's a couple of things that I'm gonna steer you towards. But this is sort of a favorite for me to listen to and share with everyone. Is if you were going to pick any day of the week and you're going to share with us your absolute favorite Boulder County day, start to finish. And you may have already named some of the things, but just, the dogs are involved, Xanthe's involved, maybe not, the thing, bikes, whatever it is, maybe. How does that look? How could you share that with us?
Yeah. I'm pretty infamous for doing what I used to call adventure days.
Okay.
We do many different things on a day. But so it would have to be like, my ideal day would definitely be, everybody's like up, you got to have a coffee, up early, you got to have coffee. And then maybe there's like, I'm so torn between summer and winter.
You could do one of each. Hey, we've still got an hour and a half.
Because, there's really something special about, the hiking in the snow.
Okay.
And let's pretend that Zebra is still my dog, my hiking dog,
Okay.
Zebra.
Yes.
Let's pretend that she's not 14 now and that she's still like just crushing it, right?
Right.
So then I'm going up to like Mallory's Cave.
Okay.
So cool.
Okay.
They always get a dump load of snow there.
Perfect.
Really fun. And then coming back, having breakfast, like, one of the walnuts. And then maybe there's something happening downtown.
Like
it.
it.
Or maybe there's a stampede. That'd
Even
be
better.
cool too.
Okay.
But just something cool. And then, I don't know if I was busy like that all day, if I would go out for dinner,
Sure,
if I would just
sure.
like have a nice, cozy dinner at home with like neighbors.
Could be. I like that.
We have, we didn't even talk about that. We have a Sunday night dinner
What?
every
Oh, I knew
Sunday.
about this.
Yeah, like
I knew about this.
like 12 to
Yes.
16 people sit
Yes.
down dinner every Sunday.
We missed an
So-
invite. We got an invite that we couldn't make to this once.
Dude, you missed that
totally.
invite.
I got the,
Yeah, because there's like a steady crew.
I know.
and
I
then
think it was an honor,
Okay,
and
I'm
I
gonna
was
get you
like, we
back
had a
on there.
conflict.
I'm gonna
So
get
tell
you
us about
back on
this.
there.
You've got a roaming community,
Yeah,
like you,
yeah.
roaming. It
neighbors.
stays at your place,
Yeah.
and you just have people come over. You'll bring
Yeah.
a few people. Everyone cooks something.
Xanthe cooks, of course.
Okay.
She loves to cook. So she cooks the main.
Yeah.
And then someone will bring appetizer,
How good is
someone will
that?
bring dessert, someone will bring like salad.
That's
and,
amazing.
Yeah, sit down for 12 to 16 people
That's-
every Sunday.
No
like,
way.
If we're traveling, of course, we're not here. But
Sure.
other than that, it is happening. And
That's
it's been
amazing.
going on for, I don't know, 15 years.
You know who you listen, Jenny and Jason do that. They do
Oh,
it monthly.
it's so great.
But how good is that? And they started doing it out of COVID, and now she's like, we do this every Sunday. I love that. I
Yeah.
told Amanda after I heard, and
Yeah.
now I'm going to tell her again.
Yeah.
She'll listen to this.
I'm gonna get
but
you
I
back
would
on the
love to
invite
do
list.
that. Well, thank
Yeah.
you. Put us down in
Yeah.
there somewhere. We'll clear it. We'll make it happen.
No better
Very
way
cool.
to get to know people,
That's
and
right.
especially your neighbors, than sharing a meal
Yes.
once a week.
I think that's fantastic.
Like we've
what
had
a cool.
people, they laugh at that table, they cry at that
Yep.
table.
That's beautiful.
We have this thing where every week, at the end of dinner, we have a question
Okay.
that we ask everyone.
Okay.
And all the attention's on you. There's no
Yeah.
crosstalk. People are answering.
Yeah.
And it's a very thoughtful kind of question.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have the next question that is just like completely off the rails.
Like ridiculous.
Like the either ors or
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
just like,
Yeah.
just
Get a giggle going.
yeah.
Oh my
So,
word, that's
anyway,
good.
yeah.
Okay, well that's a pretty
So
good
that would
day.
be my day,
That's a
yeah.
pretty good day.
Oh, it'd be so
I love
awesome.
it. Don't you? Well, you probably do that a lot. It's
Yeah.
not an uncommon thing for you to do that, or is it? Do you hit that perfect day?
Yeah. I
Okay,
did hit
that's
that perfect day.
I feel like you're doing
Yeah.
stuff right.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then and one of the things that we talked about just before we kicked off was you mentioned Ryan Van Duzer. This is someone that we should have on
Yeah.
the show.
Yes,
He's a
absolutely.
good friend.
Yes. He's my best friend.
He's your. Of course he is. But listen, did you guys go to Buc-ee's?
We did go to
That's what I thought
Buc-ee's.
when you said the
Yeah.
adventure days.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I saw you
We
packaged him up and
just-
took him to Buc-ee's.
We have so much fun. And, it's an unlikely friendship, but it's so awesome. And yeah, like I told you,
Yeah.
he probably loves Boulder more than anyone I know.
Yeah,
And
he seems like an advocate.
yeah, we've done a lot of crazy just adventures.
I love
and whenever
adventures.
he asks me to do anything, I always just try to say yes.
Yes.
Because I always say it's going to be a lot more fun and a lot harder than
Yes.
I ever knew was possible.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, yeah.
Well, he's someone we'll invite.
you'll
please,
have to get him on
Please
for
bring him
sure.
in, and
Yeah.
we'll be sure to learn a lot about him
Yeah.
and the town.
Yeah.
And then you were going to suggest someone else. What's the other person that
Oh,
you think?
well,
or the other 3 or 4. You don't have
Yeah.
to tell me all now, but
Yeah.
certainly if you have someone you want to give a shout out to,
Yeah.
often it comes up in conversation and we're chit chatting, and then someone just says a name, and I'm like, oh yeah, write that down.
Yeah.
That's happened already with Ryan, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it would be really awesome for you to get the actual owners of the Walnut.
that would be fun.
Ariel has been in Boulder, I don't know, working in Boulder, I don't know how long.
Yeah,
She
long
worked for
time.
me 15 years before,
Wow.
she bought the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
But I think getting those small local
Yes,
businesses
for
that
sure.
like have been around a long
be fun.
time, like,
I like it.
it's so fun. Like the restaurants that have been around the longest are like the Sink,
Yeah, that'd be neat to find out.
the Cork.
Mm-hmm.
I I mean, those are awesome. Like they had to totally reinvent themselves to like
to keep going.
Yeah, to stay. Because that was like
to compete from that long ago to now.
Yeah, like there's just so many awesome small local.
There are so many good businesses.
That's the heart of this.
That's the heart of the town.
It really is.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
As you said, participate, and those folks participate. They're in there providing, been in it for a long time.
There's a reason they're still here.
That's right.
Even if Frains, like they moved, into central Boulder, but
McGuckin's area. I know they were. Yeah. What's that little spot called? Either Village Shopping. What's that place
McGuckin's.
And so many. Any introductions you'd like to make? Because some of these people I don't know. I'm going to have to stroll in there. You know everyone.
I can.
Well, this is awesome. I mean, I think, so this is the point, and again, no is an acceptable answer, but is there something that you had thought about? It was on my list. It was something that you said, I want to talk about that I've just erroneously avoided or missed or mistaken or not asked you. Something that's on your mind you want to share with everyone.
I can't really think of anything off the top, but
okay.
You did for a second mention the foundation.
Yes, let's go.
And now that I'm retired, it's been a couple of years now, I started a foundation called the KRD Foundation, Kirk Rocky Derichsweiler, for my brother. Mm-hmm. And I had given him a kidney, which was amazing because, he got to live a whole lot of life really healthy.
From that gift, yes.
And then he passed from cancer. But we have a fundraiser every year. Ryan really helps with that. He's got a connection with Priority Bikes. And so watch for that. I'm sure you're going to tag something or another. But I'm on Instagram, Dana D. Boulder at Insta. And we hold a fundraiser every year. And we get kids on bikes. Like we're big supporters of community cycles and the holiday bike giveaway. Yeah. And, just getting all kids out there.
It's People for Bikes too, isn't there? What's the other?
Yeah, People for Bikes.
A little bit of that.
A little bit of that. And some of the indigenous communities. Yes. And
it's brilliant. The thing is, and this is, I remember, what's the month where you would always donate from the...
Generally February.
Yeah. So
we'll probably do it first quarter again, but watch for that. And also KRD Donor on Instagram. But, watch for that. It's, I talk about bikes and stuff and getting out there, but, for a kid, it's just like, it's so much freedom. It's so empowering. And, especially in our community, I mean, there are kids that need bikes.
Yes.
And, it's super empowering and such a great thing for our community.
What I agree with you 100%. And it really is, every time that came up, and it's something that I've known of and participated in ever since I got to know you. And I think that the other thing about with kids these days, there's a need to exercise. Mm-hmm. There's a need to move yourself. There's not a lot of people that have good bikes. And then there's a lot of, e-bikes are great, but also like don't only substitute that.
Right.
Like let's still pedal, some of these kids need that. They need that. All of us do. And so I think what you guys are doing there is brilliant, and it honors your brother also. Yeah. It's a wonderful all around.
Yeah.
And so thank you for sharing that and doing that. Yeah. That's, we'll definitely make mention of that. And
plus we have such great resources for kids.
Totally.
The bike park.
100%.
We didn't even talk about
it's
the
amazing.
Bike park. So fun.
The bike park is
so much fun.
Really amazing. Yeah. Also in your neighborhood.
I know. Sometimes I just go over there and do little laps.
The little loops. It's
track.
A favorite. Yeah. Well, my kiddo, my little boy Zane has been really into cycling lately, and he started riding with the single track mountain bike association, SMBA.
Oh, wow.
But it's super fun. They rode from sort of downtown, like Folsom Field area, to the bike park, and they did a bunch of stuff. And then they took him up yesterday. They took him up to Patasso, and he did like the link and stuff. I'm like, he's 7, and he loves it. Come back all scratched up, and it's just, I'm a huge fan of biking and the freedom it gives you, and like you just said, and I know you guys are as well. So a little shout out, a little tie in there for the biking. But honestly, this has been a treat. I hope you've had fun.
It's been super fun.
It's
we could do this again because
we'll do it again.
We could just talk and talk and talk. I love it.
New topic.
Love
one more time.
Love you.
Yes, love you too. Okay. And this has been awesome. So, folks, thanks for tuning in. And as I always do, I'll encourage you before the next episode to go out there and do something that you love.
Yeah.